Witches and Prose podcast. My name is Haley Camarillo, author of Fury and Flame, book one of the Witching Hour series, which will be out this fall. Today, I have with me the awesome book coach and epic fantasy author, Colleen Mitchell. Hi, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing fantastic today.
Great. Thank you so much for being on. I'm very excited to get to chat with you. So can you tell us a little bit about you have an epic fantasy series called the Chronicles of I'm sorry, oh my gosh, Talam, right? Talam.
Talam.
Talam. Sorry. Did it again. Talam. Chronicles of Talam. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the series as a whole, the Chronicles of Talam, I like describing it as a mashup of Harry Potter, the Chronicles of Narnia, and King Arthur. So that's kind of the core kind of just premise of the whole universe. It's portal fantasy, so there's a connection to Earth and Talam, someplace on Earth. You'll have to read book one to find out where. And it follows the story, at least book one follows the story of an 18-year-old girl who, on her 18th birthday, finds out that she can do magic. And then she has to go with her brother and her best friend to Talam to find her dad. And as soon as they get there, almost as soon as they get there, they get trapped inside a curse that Emma, the main character, has to learn how to do magic in time to actually break the curse and save everybody inside the curse.
Oh, that's very exciting. I love the mashup of the different inspirations. I'm a big King Arthur fan, so that's really cool. Love art, love that. So what inspired the Chronicles of Talam?
Well, that love of King Arthur and Harry Potter was the main reason. I just love fantasy. I love the Christian aspect to Narnia, and so I wanted to bring a little bit of that in there. And I just love portal fantasy. So I've been writing since I was 12, and this actually came the first book came about from mashing together two different books that I wrote when I was in junior high or high school,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't work by themselves. So in NaNoWriMo 2018, I mashed them together, and that's what became this book. But it's so hard to answer like what inspired your writing, because as writers we have ideas from all over the place, and this was just the one that kept kind of knocking at the door.
Okay, I love that. That's really cool that you took two stories and mashed them together. I never even would have thought to just kind of combine the two ideas together. That is really cool. So what started you on your writing journey? What has that consisted of? What does that look like for you?
So like I mentioned, I started when I was 12, and I have really vivid memories of sitting in the choir portable in high school, or junior high, I guess, and sitting in the back row because I was a soprano. And I would just pass little scraps of stories back and forth with the girl who became my best friend. That's kind of where it all started, but I'd even had the writing bug before then. And I
Mhm.
don't know really where I got it from. Maybe came from my mom's side. My mom's like a pastel artist or an oil artist. The painting behind me is one of hers. So I
Beautiful.
can't draw worth crap, but I got some kind of creative gene from her, and I think maybe that's what it came out with writing. But after I wrote those two different books that eventually became Mark of Stars, which is the first book in the series, I spent 10 years writing fan fiction. And in those 10 years, I wrote a 230,000 word Harry Potter fan fiction.
Oh my gosh.
That it's basically Severus Snape time travel. He gets to go back and redo his life because who doesn't want to see that? And that really helped me hone my writing skills and my writing style. And I can write like J.K. Rowling, but I also write like me. And I really like that. That whole process just helped bring out my writing voice.
Mhm.
And then NaNoWriMo 2018 is when the book was born. From there, I went so I did a rewrite in 2020. There was a little bit of a gap because of some deaths in the family that I had to just recover from.
Mhm.
But I went from first rewrite to published in a year.
Oh my
And
God.
so that's actually what I help other authors do now
Mhm.
when after they go through the 60-day novel writing challenge, which is an offering that Tally Inc. provides. And Tally Inc. is run by my book editor. So
Okay.
right now, as of today, we're on day 2 of the July August 60-day challenge. So anybody who goes through that then gets the opportunity to work with me to publish their book within a year.
Oh, that's really exciting. That is awesome. So, what inspired you to become a book coach?
I've just so the process that I went through trying to publish my book, I saw so much stuff that people just don't know.
Mhm.
Like Amazon, for instance. If you don't know this, when you upload your paperback manuscript to Amazon, it might take a week or two to actually get a proof copy. And if something's wrong with the proof copy, you have to get another thing uploaded. And so there's just so much time in between the first version and then the actual final version. I didn't know that. And so there was just a lot of opportunity for drama in that whole year.
Mhm.
And because I have the training as a life coach, I'm able to help those authors who are going through this process get published without all that drama. So they have my experience of going through that whole process. They have somebody who they can talk to about all of the other stuff that's drawing on their attention. They can get support on how to think about their writing or how to think about what other people think about their writing. That's a really big issue is people sometimes don't think that their writing is good enough for other people. And so
Mhm.
that's a big topic for the coaching groups that I run.
Oh, that's really cool. That's very awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
So can you, okay. So with your series, is there any romance in
Yes.
it?
So the romance is between the best friend and the brother, of course, because why not? But that's for book one. I'm only going to talk about book one because
Okay.
I'm currently rewriting book two, and there's going to be other stuff in book two that people are going to have a lot of fun with. But book one is definitely a romance between the best friend and the brother. It's not like the main plot; it's just a really fun subplot. And I've repeatedly had people tell me that the best friend, whose name is Bethany, is their favorite character. And so
Ah,
I just love being able to have the favorite character fall in love with the brother, and it's so much fun.
yay, that is exciting. So um is there any sort of like spiciness to it? Is it more fade to black? Is it a little bit more explicit? Like what is it?
Well, because it's technically clean
Okay.
fantasy,
Yeah.
like a little bit of a Christian background, it's just kissing.
Okay. Perfect. That is awesome. Okay, so what is your writing process like? What all does that include? I know that you wrote a book you had it from start to finish publication in a year. That is amazing. So, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so book one, let's just start with the NaNoWriMo 2018.
Mhm.
I didn't have really any structure ahead of that. So the first half of the first book I wrote during NaNoWriMo 2018. That was about 50,000 words.
Okay.
And then I got it to 105,000 words by the following June.
Okay.
And then I had it developmentally edited. And so from that first developmental edit to the second or the first rewrite, I think I cut 20,000 words, maybe.
Okay.
Um, I know from first draft to final draft, I cut 40,000 words, but it went through three developmental edits. I blew up the middle twice, and but from first rewrite, so the first rewrite after NaNoWriMo to published was a year, and
Okay.
in that process, it went through two more developmental edits. But in general, I follow the process that the 60-day novel writing challenge
Okay.
outlines, which is the first 30 days is outlining your book, gathering ideas, getting to know your characters, doing a little bit of world building, organizing those ideas so that on day 31, which is usually like the first day of NaNoWriMo is when that would be a really good place to start, is you're
Mhm.
just hitting the ground running with writing. And so
Perfect.
you're following that outline. I'm okay with it going off script just because my characters will go places I have no idea where they're going, but it'll work sometimes. Um, and then I aim for 50 to 75,000 words during that NaNoWriMo month or the second month of the challenge. And
Huh.
then I'll write the story to completion afterward. So then after that, I do self edits. I'll do at least one developmental edit, rewrite, which is what I'm currently doing for book two. And then it'll go through maybe a second developmental edit, copy edits. Can't talk today. Uh, like proofing and then the publishing process.
Awesome. That's really cool. And so you mentioned that you kind of let your characters kind of go off and do their own kind of thing if it happens. So would you consider yourself more of a pantser, more of a plotter, kind of somewhere in between?
Definitely more of a plotter. I try to keep my characters in line to the idea or the vision that I have for the story, but sometimes they can just go off script. So if I look at the outline I wrote for book 2 from when I first wrote the first draft, it looks maybe 50% like that,
Okay,
just because of so many different changes that happened during the writing process.
gotcha. That's really cool. So let's see. What were your biggest struggles with writing book one?
Oh, with book 1, info dumps. The first draft had a lot of info dumps, and my editor says I have engineering brain, which I totally do because I have a mechanical engineering degree. But having that engineer brain means that I want to put all the details into everything and tell you everything that happens and like the backstory and why things are there. And so the first draft, that's why I cut 40,000 words, was just so full of info dumps. And that was the really hard part, was going through that process and learning how to weave that backstory and those info dumps into action scenes and like relevant scenes. And so it wasn't just them sitting at the kitchen table talking about stuff. And yeah, that was the
Infographs
hardest
are
part.
so hard. They're so hard because it's yeah. You want to give them the information, but yeah, being able to weave it in throughout the story is
That makes me like it makes me really appreciate authors who do those like world building books, so that you can get all the info dump out and actually give it to people, but it's not like part of the main series. It's just like the backstory book.
yeah. And you're like, okay, cool, awesome. Now I get all of the info in one place.
Yeah.
So, you kind of mentioned this a little bit, but you did say that Bethany, the best friend, is one of your favorite characters, or is everybody else's? So, can you tell us a little bit about your favorite characters? It's okay if we have a couple of them. We can talk about them.
So I love writing Bethany. Writing Bethany is one of the funnest things to do. But there's a different character who I think I like more, and he's actually more of a supporting character, while Bethany is one of the three main characters.
Okay.
I have a character named Renault LeFay. And if you recognize that last name, it's because he is the half human son of Morgan Le Fay.
Oh,
And in my world, I made her like an ancient shape shifting kind of creature person who is as old as the world itself. So she's basically immortal. And Renault is really grumpy. He's kind of acerbic. He's just so much fun to write because he clashes with the other characters and he like ruffles all of their feathers. And so I like writing him to ruffle their feathers. And so I have some lines from him that are just really good. And part of what I like about him is he's one of very few men in my world who can do magic. So
okay.
he's really touchy about people asking him why he can do magic. Spoiler alert, it's because he's the son of Morgan Le Fay. Other men in this world who can do magic is because of their bloodline or because they undergo really dangerous rituals to basically steal magic from witches. That's
Oh.
a no-no. So when he gets asked, like, why do you have magic? He gets touchy about it. And it's really just kind of fun to have him go off on people.
He sounds really interesting. I have a daughter named Morgan, and we call her Morgan Le Fay. So,
It's a good name.
yes. um, but that is really cool. Do you happen to have any of those? Uh, do you happen to have a line off the top of your head of one of Renault's that you could share with us?
Oh man, I think my favorite line actually came from a cut, unfortunately. Um, oh, I can actually pull it up really fast and read
Yeah.
it to you.
Yes,
It'll
please.
take a minute. Let's go to that.
I should have asked ahead of time, but
I know, right?
but it's no problem.
Okay, got the right book up now. That one. No, not that one. Maybe it's that one. Not that one. This one.
It's just so many.
Okay.
It's okay though. Take your time.
Okay. So in the first draft, this is actually like the first draft.
Oh.
Let's see, close that. There's a scene towards the end where Emma, the main character, and Renault are patrolling on the ramparts, kind of waiting for something to happen.
Mhm.
And let's see. And she's just like, she's worried about her dad, and it'll make sense if you read the book. Um, and she's worried about having killed people. This is, remember, first draft, so at this point she hasn't, in the final draft, she maybe hasn't killed anybody yet. But she says, I killed people. And then Renault corrects her and he goes, enemies. Renault corrected. You killed 2 enemies. 2 fewer now, whom our forces must face. And she's scowling and says, stop trying to make me feel better about taking lives. And then Renault says, do you feel sorry for them or yourself? I have known your father his entire life. I watched him grow from boy to man, boldly forging his own path through this world and into yours. He is my brother in everything except blood. Tom was much like you in his youth, reverent for all human life regardless of one's character or intentions. War fixed that.
Ooh, I really like that.
So remember, that's all cut, so didn't actually make it in.
Aw.
But that kind of gives a flavor for his personality.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. Well, I think that we are through all of our questions. I am very, very intrigued by this, and I am going to go on and get myself a coffee so that I can read. Because I love a good King Arthur inspired tale. So, but thank you again so much for being on today. Oh, where can we get your book? Amazon, anywhere that books are sold pretty much?
Yeah, so it's mainly on Amazon. However, if you search Mark of Stars, the top result is going to be something that somebody else wrote and released like 2 months after me, so don't buy hers. But the best place to really find it is just going to talam.com. That's TALAHM.com. And that can be a place for you to buy a signed copy or to just get the easy link to Amazon. And then if you are not really sure you want to buy the book and you want to read the first 4 chapters for free instead, you can go to talam.com/first-4, like FOUR -chapters, and that'll get you the first 4 chapters for free.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. Again, thank you for being on. I had so much fun talking to you today. And watchers, thank you guys for joining us on this episode of the Witches in Prose podcast. You guys have a great day, and you, Colleen, have a great day as well.